What is up, everybody? If you like the content I put up, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and leave me a comment below letting me know what you think of today's video. What is going on, everybody? STARSKREAM here, and today we're going to be talking about the current Jerry event. If you don't know what the Jerry event is, basically there are these little guys here named Jerry, and you have the ability to create a class of Jerry, up to 5 different classes. One of each, obviously, and pick some stats, pick some moves that are all kind of randomly option generated for you. And then once you create him, he's then a usable character that you can then use in PvP. You can use him, I think, even in PvE dungeons. I actually haven't checked that, but anyways, the point is, in this competition, you need to use him in PvP to rack up points for your guild, and so on. We're gonna go into it. It's an interesting event, and I say interesting just because there's a lot of moving pieces, and most people either are fond of the event or they like really have a deep-seated hatred for this event, and for good reason. There's a lot of it costs a lot to make a Jerry, first of all, much less 5 of them. You don't get to keep them when it's done, so it's really, you need a PvP with it, and if you're a high-level PvPer, you're going to be matched against really difficult opponents, and those difficult opponents are sometimes very hard to beat with needing to use a Jerry on your offense team, which again, we're going to get into how that all works. But anyways, there are ways that you can mitigate the suffering that you're going to have for this event, and that's what I'm here to try and help with today. Before we get into it, I am going to mention that I am not necessarily like a Jerry event expert per se. I just kind of follow the same rules from the past Jerry events, and then I ask for a little bit of advice within my guild and kind of just go from there. I'm going to share with you what I do know about it. Also, I just recorded, or thought I was recording, for the past like 45 minutes to an hour or so, and realized that I had never re-hit the record button since the last time I had to stop it. So I'm gonna go through and try and remember everything, but unfortunately my whole plan that I had for it has kind of like lost my head since I already went over everything, but I'm gonna do my best. So first, let's just kind of go over the basics of the Jerry event. So the way the Jerry event works is you have this event dungeon that you can run. The event dungeon gives you tokens. The tokens that you get for it, you're going to get either 20 or 30 tokens, regardless of whether or not you manual run it or quick loot it. Obviously, if you manual run, you will get the ability to click shinies, which will, get the potential of giving you some stamina back, but it's not necessarily the most time-effective way to do it. And also, if you're going to plan on making multiple Jerrys, you're going to need a lot of tickets, and the average payout, I'd say, for tickets, if you're quick looting or even for manual running, is going to end up over everything is going to net you probably like 2,600 tickets per run. So to get the amount of tickets you're going to need to actually make a ton of Jerrys is going to take a while if you're constantly manually running. But if that's how you want to do it, go for it. It also makes it hard to start the event if you don't have a Jerry on day one. So you're kind of forced almost to start this, pretty quickly. You can also get Jerry tokens in the shop here for 15 gems, which is actually really good. It's very cheap to, let's say, 6-star Jerry, but the problem is you also need tickets. So the tickets are going to allow you to ascend your Jerry. So realistically, getting these tokens with gems, while it does make sense, sorta, it also kind of doesn't if you plan on making Jerrys, because you're going to need the tickets anyway. So you might as well just get the tokens while you're running the dungeons, unless for whatever reason you just decide you're only going to make one Jerry and that's it. Then maybe it would make sense to just get enough tokens and tickets specifically for one Jerry, but it's really probably still not really going to make a lot of sense. But if you're maybe off a few tokens and you don't feel like spending any more stamina, I guess that's one way you could do it. Next, let's go into the leaderboard here. You're going to see that the leaderboard is kind of all over the place. The guild standing is based on the number of wins with the number of stars on the Jerrys that you bring into you with PvP raids that you win. So if you bring 2 6-star Jerrys into a PvP raid and you win, you're going to get 12 points because it's 6 plus 6. If you bring a third Jerry that only has 3 stars, you're only going to get 3 extra points from that, so you would have 15 points altogether. And keep in mind that you have to win the raid. So yeah, you could get more points for bringing 4 in, but it might not make sense to bring 4 in because you know, the Jerrys might not be as good as normal heroes, so your odds of winning kind of aren't as high, if that makes sense. So the next thing we're going to go into here is player rankings. So player rankings, I'm not exactly 100,000% sure if it includes anything other than tokens, but I do know 100% that it does include tokens. So I believe that all this is really counting here is the number of Jerry tokens that you get throughout the event. So, you know, those 15 gems for 50 tokens might add to this number here. So you might see people go nuts at the end of the event to try and win the awards, because the awards are, they're pretty decent. I don't know that I would necessarily, you know, go crazy to try and get their awards, but they're definitely not bad. But anyways, all this has to do with here is the amount of Jerry tokens that you've gotten throughout the event. Next, we'll go on to day 1 threshold. So each day you're going to have ticket thresholds. 200k tickets gets you the first day thresholds. Usually the way these work is that by day 5 or day 4 of the event, they're going to raise the threshold number. Getting 200k tickets takes quite a bit of stamina and keys, so I might do it each day, but not everybody does. Usually by the end of the event, people are a little bit burned out on resources, so that part is totally up to you. Does not affect your guild score at all, so do whatever you feel like. And lastly, we're going to go to guild participants. I'm not going to go into mine right now, but basically this is based entirely on your PvP wins with your Jerry. So the total of all the points in the guild participants area is going to equal your guild standing, and obviously that's where your guild is going to be placed. None of the other things like in the threshold or the player rankings here are going to have anything to do with guild participants or guild standing. Now, obviously, the most important question is, which Jerrys should I build? How should I build them? And why? So that's the part we're going to get into now. I don't remember if I forgot anything from the last time I recorded, but I'm hoping I'm not, because I'm just going to move into the next thing. In my last recording, I went piece by piece and explained everything about Warrior Jerry and why he's the best, and I just spent a ton of time on it, and now I can't remember everything that I said because I don't really have these scripted. I kind of just, you know, have an idea in mind and I go through it. But what I'll do is I'll kind of go through what I picked and why I picked it, and I'll try and recreate the building process that I went through. But before we do that, I will mention that I took a poll internally in my guild. I asked everybody in my guild to pick 2 Jerrys that they thought were the best class of Jerry, so warrior, rogue, you know, etc. And out of 50 participants in the poll, I think all 50 chose Warrior Jerry as the best. All 50 chose Warrior Jerry. After that, the second best was Rogue with 28 votes. And then after that, Tank was 14, Caster with 4, and Healer with 1. So if you want my recommendation, it's going to take a lot of tickets to be able to max out 5 Jerrys all the way. It takes about 92,000 tickets to max out 1 Jerry. So we do that times 5. It's a lot of tickets. It's just under 500,000 tickets, which is going to cost you, you know, anywhere between 5 and 10,000 stamina. So it's definitely not cheap to max them all out, and you really don't need all of them. I will say for sure the Healer Jerry and the Caster Jerry, in my opinion, are the worst ones. Some people use the Caster and like it, but in my experience, I don't love it unless you need to make 4. I would make a Caster before I'd make a Healer for sure, right? Now, typically, I've always in my mind thought that Warrior and Rogue are the best just because they have the best loadout options, they have the best passives, they're just overall just kind of the best. But Tank is usually kind of like interchangeable with the Rogue. Now, it also really kind of depends on what you're planning on doing with these builds. So your PvP strategy should shape not only which Jerrys you build, but also the traits that you choose. So for example, my plan is going to be to have 3 Jerrys plus a Serenity. Now, the Serenity buff that gives you haste, or, you know, allows you to attack twice. It's not technically a haste, but allows you to attack twice if you use single target abilities, really like kind of shaped the way that I chose this Warrior Jerry. Now, if you plan on running 2 Jerrys and then maybe, you know, like Dagon and Jin, or, you know, Serenity or Zulk or something like that, then you might choose different options. But for me, I had this idea in mind that I was going to run 3 Jerrys with Serenity. Now, if it's not working out, I'll probably just run 2 with like a Dagon and Jin, which seems to be a really solid PvP team. 2 Jerrys with those 2. But for right now, I'm going to build it around 3 plus 1. Now, the reason I bring that up is because the abilities I chose are all single target abilities specifically for that reason. I chose, I think it's Light Aijutsu Strike. I'm not really sure how to say it. It's not the best move in the world, but it is a single target and not AoE, so that's why I chose it. Steel Sharpened Steel is probably the best second slot option you can choose for a warrior Jerry. It's really, really good. Obviously, it's Falcon's thing, but there's not really a lot that's better than it. There's a lot of other viable options, but this is, in my opinion, definitely the best one. And then last but not least, I chose Thunder Smash as the third ability. Now, the third slot for warrior has really, really good moves. It has Malice's move. It has, obviously, this move. It has Agnon's move, so there's a lot that you can choose here. I chose Thunder Smash because it has the Paralyze and Silence utility that you can see up on the screen here, which is really, really, really good. This is Dagon's third move. It's just a really solid move, and it's also single target with splash damage, so it still procs Serenity's, passive ability. As far as stats go, the first stat that you can choose, the best first little trait here that you can choose is going to be fast. Like, if I would go so far as to say that if you don't get fast, you might as well just rebuild the whole thing. That's my opinion. I'm going to rebuild any of my Jerrys that don't have fast. I want to make sure that all of my Jerrys are fast because PvP is really, really hard. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't remember if I actually recorded that part or not, but usually people really hate this event or they really love it because PvP with Jerrys can be really difficult or, passable depending on the Jerrys that you build. Also for higher level peoples, also for higher level players, PvP can be a lot harder. They just revamped all of PvP, so it can be pretty rough if you don't have the right build. So in my opinion, focusing on one or two Jerrys that you can focus all of your tickets in instead of trying to spread your tickets thin across all of them is definitely going to earn you a lot more wins and be a lot more effective than trying to make 3 mediocre Jerrys. Genjutsu was my third option as far as on that first page to choose, which is an okay option. There weren't really anything else that I could go with here. It's decent, but it was definitely better than the other ones I had there. Again, I'm really sorry. I thought it was recording, and I went through and I talked about the other ones there. So Dwarven Resolve is all right. It's really, really good. Definitely choose it if you have it as an option. I would definitely choose it. It makes it so you have perfect swing, you don't miss. But the next one that we're going to talk about here, Epic Lead by Example, is extremely good. It's almost as important as fast. You could get by with fast and not lead by example, but if it were me and I had the extra tickets, I would keep remaking a warrior Jerry until I got both of these before I even moved on to the rogue Jerry. That's how important it is to me, because this is going to have all of your characters do a follow-up attack, which is super, super OP. You're going to have way more utility if you have both these options. So I highly recommend trying to get fast and lead by example, even on multiple Jerrys if you have the ability, if you have enough tickets and the ability to do that. Now, typically at the end, you get not the greatest abilities, Warrior Heart, things that, help some of your armored heroes and stuff. Whatever you put there really doesn't matter that much, honestly. But I picked Warrior Heart just in case I end up going with a Dagon team build. But really, it was kind of just a throwaway. And the Reincarnate trait is not that great. It's in the area where you can also get Solaris's trait, which is the Rise from the Ashes, which is far superior to this. I didn't have that option, so I chose this. But because of the other good stuff that I got, it was worth it, and I'm not going to do a rebuild. Rebuilds, by the way, are 15,000 tickets, so just keep that in mind. Next, let's go on to a live build, and we're going to go right into Rogue, which again is my second favorite Jerry. And this time we can go through it again, and this is what I did for the Warrior Jerry as well, so this is take two. So my first ability here, it doesn't look like I got the greatest options. Charm is not great. It's not horrible, but it's really not that great. Mark for Death is basically useless. So I'm just going to pick Furious Charge. It's a single target attack, which will proc Serenity's passive, which is again what I'm going for. I did get Fast here, which is phenomenal. Again, if I wouldn't have, I'm 99% sure I would have just reset this, but I did, so that's great. And then the class passive, Masuda Kira's passive is not that great. Gains energy on a death blow is actually okay, but it's not amazing. And second one, gains 1 energy and haste after getting a killing blow. This is pretty solid. So I'm probably going to go with this. Gains haste and energy after getting a killing blow, because odds of me getting a killing blow are pretty high with a fast rogue. So I'm going to grab it, and if you're not, especially if you're not running a Serenity build, this definitely at least helps you get a Serenity type effect. But you could definitely make an argument for using Your Loss, My Gain. It's not terrible, but I'm going to go with Second Wind. For the second ability, again, looks like we didn't get the greatest moves. Vibrating Palm is good because it can't be reflected or mitigated in any way, so it goes through anything, really. It's a pretty solid move. Jackhammer is good because it does 4 melee attacks on a target, blocking their ability to crit. It does 3 times damage to armored and living stone heroes, so it's a pretty solid move here. I'm probably going to go with Jackhammer, just because it'll probably have the most damage output. But Vibrating Palm is definitely decent in that slot as well. Family passive, looks like I got Dwarven Resolve again. I'm always going to choose it pretty much over anything else that's in this slot if I have that option. If you're making a full Honor-Bound team, maybe you would choose Honor-Bound, but I probably wouldn't. I'd still choose Dwarven Resolve. Legendary passive, I didn't get Lead by Example, which kind of sucks. That's really, really the one that I wanted here, because multiple Jerrys with Lead by Example is just insanely strong. But I don't know that I'm going to remake it yet. We'll see what I get in my next page here. I did get a couple good ones, so we'll see. Epic from the Grave, this creates minions. Scourge cleans 3 debuffs, which is pretty good. This is basically Zulk's passive, so it's pretty decent. So I'll go with that. Third ability, Assassin's Wrath, is a good single target move. I'll probably take that. The other 2 are okay. They're not that great. They don't really do much, so I'm definitely going to choose Assassin's Wrath on this one. Jerry passive is okay. This is where you could get Solaris's. Again, I didn't really get Solaris's move here, so it's kind of unfortunate. So I will go with probably Chaotic Energies, I guess, because it's at least he can do something if he dies. And then the Ally Boost passive is where you can get Shard of Darkness, which gives you Foresight. So this is by far, in my opinion, the best out of all the Ally Boost passives. The other ones are kind of useless, so definitely if you get Shard of Darkness, choose this. This is Kraw's ability that gives your entire team Foresight, so it's super, super good if you can get it. Oxidize Sap is, in my opinion, probably the second best Ally Boost passive that you can get. So I'm going to choose Shard of Darkness. If you don't have Shard and you have Sap, definitely get that. If you don't have either of those, just pick whatever, because it's really not going to matter. We'll see how my tanked Jerry ends up, which is going to be my next one, and see if I really feel like I need to. So none of these first signature abilities are any good, but Sucker Punch is a single target attack, so I guess I'll go with that one. I did get Fast, so that's good. And class passives didn't really get any good ones. You could get Abs of Steel, which is going to make it so that like he's basically like Furnace, so he can't take more than 20% damage, I guess. Any melee that has a lower attack than this hero's defense will only do 1 damage, so this is going to be what's-her-face, Astrid's passive, which I'm not going to run him for defense, so I don't really need it. So I guess I could run with Abs of Steel or Reflecting Shield, which is not terrible. Now that I think about it, I'll probably, out of these 3, I'll probably choose Reflecting Shield. It does 50% of the damage that you would have taken back at the attacker, and your whole team keeps it for 3 rounds, so whatever, let's try it out. This event, you kind of have to just sometimes just say, let's try it out, to just kind of, I don't know. It's sometimes you're just not going to get like a perfect build, and the amount of options that are here make it so that a perfect build is kind of like really, really subjective. Let's see here. I'd say out of these 3, Guarding Strike, I guess. I didn't really get a good family passive, which is unfortunate. This hero's an elf, takes significantly less damage. None of these are great. Legendary passive, didn't really end up getting a good legendary passive. I did get Shard of Darkness, and this is from the Ashes, is probably the best Jerry passive you could get here. But really, honestly, I don't love this build. The only really amazing thing I got was that he got fast, which is good, but getting from the ashes, Shard of Darkness, and fast, just to me, I didn't love his abilities. I'm gonna remake him for now, and let's just hope I get fast again. So at least I got fast, so I'm not sad that I didn't get fast, so that's good. I got some pretty bad abilities here. I'll choose Shield Slam just so that I can at least have a single target ability, and that'll allow me to... But Cry Havoc's not bad. I'll choose Cry Havoc instead. It can silence, but it's not going to proc my... It doesn't really synergize with my Serenity build that I want to do, but it's infinitely better than the other two moves I have here. Obviously, like I mentioned, I'm always going to choose fast. Chance to melee. Oof. I'll just choose Reflecting Shield again. Second ability, Embarrassing Jab is a little bit better than the last one we got, which was a Guarding Strike. You might disagree. You might want to give all your allies defense, but I like the ability to remove your opponent's ability to crit, which I think is pretty solid, and it starts powered, so that's immediately a move that I can use with Serenity, which will give synergy with her passive, so that I could then use Cry Havoc with my next move. I didn't get a good family passive again, so I will choose Plant Growth just because it'll increase his attack and health, which is okay, but not amazing. And I still didn't get Lead by Example, which really sucks. But man, I guess I will choose From the Grave for some minions. Oh, that's rough. I don't like this one either. Third ability. I guess I'll choose Combustion just for the utility of being able to take an opponent's energy away. It's really not great. I'll choose Bull Rush, actually, single target. I don't know that Combustion counts as a single target for Serenity, so I'll just choose Bull Rush. Beloved is okay in this slot, so if this Jerry dies, then all of my other Jerrys will follow up and revenge him, so I guess that's okay. And the Ally Boost passive, I didn't get Foresight this time, so really, ultimately, I probably ended up with a worse Jerry than last time, even though my abilities are better, or my move set is better. My abilities are just as bad, if not worse, so I'm gonna bite the bullet one more time, and we're gonna see if we can get lucky here. Oh, I didn't get fast. So I'm just going to. I did get Lead by Example this time, but it's worthless without fast, in my opinion. I'm just going to call this one a wash, and we're gonna rebuild. I've got fast. I've got Fist of Justice, which is not bad. Thick Skin is okay. I'm going to pick Reflecting Shield again. Give me Lead by Example. Oh, I didn't get it again. Scourge Hide is okay. Construct is alright, so that at least I can't get any debuffs. I think Overlord Blitz is pretty decent compared to the other two. Third ability is blocks the offender's ability to crit, transfers a debuff. Bull Rush again, so I can lower some energy, is not terrible. Jerry passive, I got pretty bad Jerry passives this time. Just not getting super lucky with these passives. And I'll just pick Oxidized. I guess I'll just keep this one. So next we're going to go over my rune setup for my Jerrys. Your rune setup is really going to depend on you and what teams you're planning on using. The thing is, Jerrys are not as strong as other heroes. Regardless of how strong you make your Jerry, it's really not going to be as good as most of the meta defenses, which right now are really strong. The defense meta makes it very hard on attackers right now, especially Jerry attackers. So I wanted to try and make sure I could do everything I could to keep him alive. So I put a Guardian Rune on him and an Unbreakable Heart Rune on him, and the rest I just loaded him up on attack. For my Rogue Jerry, I did the same thing: Guardian Rune, defense, Unbreakable Heart, and then a bunch of attack, taking advantage of Warrior Runes, which will allow me to do an extra follow-up attack, hopefully from the lead by example from my warrior Jerry. And then lastly, I've got my tank Jerry here with, again, some damage, put a little bit of defense on him. I'm probably not gonna bring tank Jerry unless I know for sure I'm probably gonna be able to win against really hard defenses. I'm probably still gonna only run 2 Jerrys and then 2 other heroes, and against really hard defense I'm probably only gonna end up bringing 1 Jerry. So we're gonna dive in and just kind of see how it goes. One thing to keep in mind in PvP for this event is that there are no win streaks there, and also it does not matter if you go for hard, medium, or easy. You will always get the same amount of points, again based on the amount of stars and tokens that are stars and amount of Jerrys that you have with you. So I'm just going to go always for the easiest, or what appears to be the easiest option. We don't know if that's for sure going to be the easiest option. And then what we're going to do here is, this seems like a mid-level defense. I want to say mid-level, but you know, this Miko, if it freezes everybody, could really mess you up. But what I'll do is I will run 2 Jerrys with Dagon and Jin, and that will hopefully silence the opponents, and I will hopefully get an easy win out of this one here. We like easy wins during this event. I probably could have ran a 3rd with Jin, again hoping for the same idea, hoping to silence. Can Miko be silenced? Oh, Miko might not even be able to be silenced. Oops, that might have been my bad there. But the thought process was right. I kind of goofed. I don't see Miko a lot on defense right now, so sometimes I forget people's abilities. But regardless, it looks like we got the win. We got the W out of it. If we brought a third Jerry, we might not have. So it's better that we at least get some points out of it. So this one here looks like same idea, not super difficult. We'll try running a 3 Jerry build, or 3 Jerry team here. It's just, we're gonna test our luck here because I'm pretty sure these heroes can be silenced. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna be good on this one for the most part. And that's that on that team. See if we find a hard one. There's no way on this earth that I'm going to go after Zhao or Oracle, so I'm going to go after Haas here. So let's do this. Let's take a different approach. We will bring our handy dandy Dagon, we'll bring our super dope warrior, our rogue, and then we will bring Grandor. Grandor should help against this type of team here. It'll prevent us from being frozen, and will also give us a defense buff so that we can hopefully survive Miko's pretty strong first attack. Right, Miko's first attack, solid. Looks like we had our desired outcome from that. Ideally, would love to do some damage on this Falcon here. Awesome. So again, not a super difficult defense, but again, we paired our team with what was the best option for what we were going against. Again, I'm getting really lucky and getting halfway easy teams, but that is not really common. So definitely don't count on it. Count on probably losing quite a few times in this event if you're trying to run 3 Jerrys. If you only want to run 1 Jerry, it'll make your life a lot easier. You'll win a lot of your raids, a lot more of your raids, let's say, than you would have otherwise. But you're also going to gain points a lot slower. So that part is totally up to you. I'm doing it this way just because any chance I get to try and get as many points as possible, I'm going to take it. Oh, look, Oracle got moved into my easy slot, so that's good. Alright, so we've got 3 uber tier defenses here, huh? So none of these look all that appealing. I'm just gonna refresh that. Oh, look, I got I got Jow. Cool. That's fun. Yeah, no thanks. This looks terrible as well, but out of the three, probably the easiest. So I guess let's try. Oh, that's probably going. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it for us. Oh. All right, so we were defeated. I probably should have just run a one Jerry team on that one. Probably would have been the smartest thing to do. Oh, look, 3 extremely hard defenses. I'm going to definitely refresh. Okay. Okay, these are manageable. Yeah, these are somewhat manageable. So I assume I could probably. Oh man, this one's gonna be. It's gonna be a close one here. Really don't know on this one here. Yep, that's gonna be an L for us. Fun. Alright! Oh no! That's not good. Count on probably losing quite a few times in this event. Okay, so let's try a different approach. Let's if we can survive a few moves with this team, we should be able to do quite a bit of damage on people. So let's hope for that. Serenity's really good. Dagon's really good. As long as we can survive, we should be good to go. Give ourselves an attack buff here. And wow, that did a lot of damage. Alrighty then. Let's see here. This should be good to go. Perfect. We got a W. Man, these teams get rough. Yes, we got an easy one. Woo! Take that. Oh, are you kidding me? Come on, dude. So this team is okay when you're going against level 76 teams. Don't want to mess with that team. Don't love that team. Wow, I hate all these teams. I guess I'll try this one. Dude, we'll go one Jerry style and see if that helps. We'll see if we can pull it out with this one. Okay, so our plan to remove her energy was effective, so that's good. Let's see if we can get rid of him. Perfect. Alright, things look to be going almost according to plan. Come on, hit her. Oh, rough. Well, as you can see from this video, no matter what, PvP is still going to be rough with your Jerrys. If you're having a really rough time, consider maybe just running one Jerry, try a lot of different builds, use builds that would have like normally, or use teams that would have normally worked in normal PvP, and just try and swap out who you think the least important hero is, but definitely take advantage of all those easy ones and try out different stuff. Grondor helps a lot because it gives your team some damage reduction. Dagon is super good right now, and he's fast, so you can pair him with Serenity. The Dagon Serenity team worked pretty well for me after a few dozen raids of trying it out. Jhin and Dagon was good, but not quite as good as I hoped it would be when you're running two Jerrys and them against really hard teams, but it was good against, you know, your mid-level teams. And then, you know, put in the comments if you guys have any teams that you guys like that are working for you. I know a lot of people in a lot of different guilds are using a lot of different stuff. The team comp is not really going to be my specialty until I try some stuff out, which again, I haven't really had the opportunity to do because I just made my Jerrys. But maybe tomorrow, if I've played a little bit more and tried a few more teams out, I'll have a little bit more options for you guys as far as team builds go. But I just wanted to at least give you guys a guide on building Jerrys. The building of the Jerrys is pretty standard throughout. For the most part, most people are going to tell you kind of the same stuff that I told you as far as like which options to pick and which moves to pick, but some people will have some varying degree on opinions on whether healers and casters are better than the ones that I chose, which based on the performance of my tank, they might be right about caster versus tank. But again, you only have so many tickets, so definitely make a warrior Jerry if you can, definitely make a rogue Jerry if you can, and then if you got some left over, you know, test out some of the other ones. Anyways, I hope this helped, guys. I'm gonna throw this together, get this out in the morning, which is when you'll be seeing it, and then like I said, if I can come up with another video to give to you guys for teams to kind of help out with that. This is a 5-day event, so I will definitely get that out in time by tomorrow if I come up with some new stuff for you. I will talk to you guys soon.